So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our KRSsatsang again. Because it's the weekend and I was bored, I'm like, let me do another satsang instead of another series video. So, yeah, today we're going to be covering 4 questions again. Okay. And this time, our very first question is from K-Fire. Okay. Hope you don't need a fire brigade there. So what can a low score of 8th house Ashtak Varga mean? Okay, so what this person is trying to say is the Ashtak Varga, which is a mathematical calculation in Vedic astrology that shows how each planet gives a certain score from 0 to 8 points to each house, and all the 9 planets giving a certain points to one particular house, we add those up. We subtract them due to Ekapadi reduction, and whatever that point is known as Sarvashtak Varga points. So this is what this person is talking about, like my points or whoever points in the 8th house, when it's in the 8th house and it's low, what does that mean? Well, the number one thing you will see is that a person will not have the capacity to win sudden gains in their life, or even have inheritance, or there'll be a lot of struggles in getting inheritance, working things with insurance, any kind of like dealing with joint assets will not be so strengthened, will not be so strong, because the overall points in the 8th house is low. But 8th house, okay, people usually get scared, like, oh my God, my 8th house is low, because 8th house represents life and death scenarios. But see, it's actually the 7th house that actually represents death. 8th house is the gain of that. Okay, and 8th house represents surgeries. 8th house represents sudden events. So when it has a low score, usually if there's no malefic impact, usually you will see this person will not deal with sudden ups and downs in their life. Like suddenly, like something's happening, suddenly they're losing this money, suddenly they're, gaining all this lottery. So in a way, 8th house low points can be a great thing, but again, everything is good or bad. Low points is not giving you great joint assets. Low points is also saving you from dealing with all the sudden events in life, if, like I said, a malefic planet doesn't impact your 8th house. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Okay, second question is from Person. How ego as a Jyeshta native? Well, that's actually surprising that a Jyeshta native wants to know about healthy ego. Well, congratulations on that. Your Jyeshta might be turning for the good. So, first of all, ego is very important in the world. See, why is ego important? Because it is ego that gives us the confidence to do something. So, for example, if somebody's short, ugly, fat like me, okay, but if that particular has the knowledge, the wealth of the world, they can go anywhere and they feel confident, like, hey, what's up, darling, what's going on? How you doing? My name is this. But when a person lacks the stability of life, when they lack the stability of life and then they kind of look like me and they have my kind of body, the ego gets hurt. Like a person becomes very introverted. But sometimes you'll have people very good looking, tall, dark, handsome, no money, and they get all the girls. I've had friends like those, and I'm like, geez, you must have done something really great in your past life. But the way to have a healthy ego is not going to come by just any means. It's going to come through spiritual practices. It's going to come through realizing one thing through spiritual practice, because that's the only reason why you do spiritual practice, to realize this one thing. I can take over your money, you can still survive. You can go fill out the application and get welfare. Okay. I can take over your clothes. You may find some rag somewhere and still survive. Okay. You can go to some hospital, ask for a rag, ask for a blanket. I can even take away your food and you can survive for maybe a week or two, if especially you have a belly like me. And if I take away your water, you might be able to survive a week, 5 days. Okay. But realize this one thing, 24/7. If I was to take away your breath just for maybe a minute and a half can actually shut your brain down, damage your brain, damage your lungs permanently. 2 minutes, you can be dead. So just remember, whatever ego you're dealing with, whatever ego you have in life, that ego is only worth 2 minutes. The moment you realize that prana that goes in the nose, goes in your lungs, or you're breathing through your spine, when you realize that this pranic force is why I exist, is why I have everything, including my arrogance goes away. Actually, all the worries of the world goes away. Because who are we? We follow these celebrities, we follow all these people, okay? We admire all these people. What are they? They are just simply a robotic entity 2 minutes away from dying. 2 minutes. Remember that. The healthiest ego. You're not here permanently. Okay? Then talk about the next question. The third question comes from Soul Bocard. What can we see from Rahu and Ketu aspects from the moon? Like, for example, Rahu is sitting in the 10th aspect from the moon and Ketu is in the 4th. Well, this is actually very important to understand. Forget the aspects, okay? The aspect is going to work exactly the same way from the ascendant or from any other planet. Ketu might aspect the 7th house from your Saturn. It's aspecting. And when will that aspect become active? When your sun period starts. Your Saturn period starts. Your Saturn dasha starts. But the thing is, Rahu and Ketu are very important to understand how a person's minds work. Why? Why is it important to see how a person's mind is working? Because Rahu and Ketu are extensions of the moon. They are calculated from the moon, the distance of moon and sun. They are extensions of the moon, the mind. Okay? But this is why we call it north node of the moon and south node of the moon. We don't call it north node of the sun and south node of the sun. Actually, somebody had a very good question for me one time. Like, what if we can extract Rahu and Ketu from each planet? Like Jupiter has a Rahu, or Jupiter has a Ketu. Well, in that case, you're going to make yourself too confused. Okay, we already are dealing with so much confusion with 9 planets. Then we have 3 outer planets, and now you want to add all of these things. So study the aspect the same way, okay? But it's that from the moon, wherever Rahu and Ketu are, those particular houses from the moon will determine what this person is thinking all the time and what is it that they're trying to achieve all the time. Okay? Now, let's talk about the last question, which is from Vibha Chauhan. One astrologer told that Moon and Venus in Scorpio in the 12th house is not good for bed pleasures. Is that right? Well, depending upon how you look at it, I mean, see, all of these things are subjective. It's not good, it's not bad. Well, what if it's that astrologer is very orthodox? They're absolutely orthodox individual, and they feel like that Venus and Moon in Scorpio, a person will be too sex crazed, hypersexual. On the other hand, some other person, normal person who may be not so orthodox, God damn, this is the best placement. I have bed pleasures all over the place. You know, sure, this can definitely bring in, you know, with certain aspects and degree position can definitely bring in affairs as well in a person's life. But there's no lack of bed pleasures there. A person is actually too indulged into bed pleasures. They're not satisfied with the bed pleasures. That's what happens here. And usually you will see, if this is a chart, if you're a male, usually you will see you will attract, especially with Moon who's sucking the light of Venus, you will attract a little bit crazy women. Women who are very dominating, and they can get angry just like that. Especially with Moon. Usually With Venus alone or with a friendly planet, it may not be that. But with Moon, it's going to extract that energy. And usually you will find that your spouse might be in fields of medicine, chemicals, clinical psychology. For a female, this represents a very turbulent relationship with females in general, in their, whether it's their sisters or whether it's their friend or whether it's a colleague or a boss. So you're going to find these type of instances in a female's chart. Or even, let's say, if somebody's a lesbian, for them, then Venus becomes important, because then they're trying to look for that Venusian energy instead of that Jupiterian energy or the Martian energy. So in that case, again, same thing will apply. You will attract women who are very strong-willed and very strong personality, and they feel like they own you. They need to like control you. And that's where things just, don't work out. Okay. So guys, this was my satsang for this week. And remember, I'm going to be doing my Uranus transit video on my KRS vlogs. And then I'm going to be covering stock market, share market, how to look at companies for investing on my KRS vlogs. So please go there. I'll put the link in the description. Otherwise, we'll see you with our regular series on Monday. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going. Jeez, I can't find my remote. Where is this? Damn. Where is this remote? Jeez. Oh, sorry.